let's make a great little turnover, a little bite that's great with wine. And I want to start with some spinach. So I've got some really dry squeezed spinach here because we're going to have to put it into some puff pastry. So what are we going to do to this spinach to really beef up, you know, a filling with it? So I thought about prosciutto di San Daniele.
San Daniele from Friuli, Venezia Giulia.
Right.
You know, it's got a history of over 800 years.
So I've got
You know
it
what
chopped
makes
up.
this prosciutto so special?
No, what?
It's two different climates that come together. In the mountains, the Alps, cold air comes descending down, and from the end of the Adriatic Sea, warm air comes rising up. It circulates through this small town of San Daniele. And there's only about 28 factories that make prosciutto San Daniele. That's all they could fit in this one little area. Makes for a very unique prosciutto. And, you know, I sliced a couple very, very thin, sottilissime. You take the prosciutto. Look at that salmon color.
Beautiful.
That's the color you want to see with good prosciutto,
And
with some marbling of fat.
We need that nice white line of fat around there.
Pinkish white.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see.
Beautiful.
You smell it, and then you eat it.
And we should say it's cured with what? Salt?
Just salt, air, and thyme.
And thyme.
And that's it. And that's it.
Okay, well, it's going to be good in here. So why don't you give a little pinch of salt in here, just to throw it. And then, how about from that same region, we talk about Montasio cheese.
Montasio is in the family of Lattaria. That's the name of the family of cheese. It goes back for about 400 years, back into the 1700s. And Montasio, if you look on the form of Montasio, you'll see a big M with big peaks because it originally was made up in the alpine areas.
Yeah.
It comes three ways. Fresco, which is what you're using.
Which
fresh.
is softer.
Right.
Yep. We put the whole thing in.
Put it right in.
Put it right in, the whole thing.
Fresco. Then we have what we call Menzano, medium aged, about 6 months. And then, if you're lucky enough to find some Stravecchio, extra aged, it could be as much as 3 years old. Montasio is very versatile. Goes great with the wines of Friuli, Venezia Giulia, Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon, or the Ribolla Gialla.
Okay, and we're going to add just a little extra virgin olive oil to that, Lou. And I'm going to add a little bit of hot red pepper flakes to that. That's our filling. Now, if you go in the refrigerator, I've got some puff pastry that's been chilling.
Okay.
Why don't you get that? Because then we're going to have to make our turnover shape. So look at how easy this is. Again, if you're using really good ingredients, you will have wonderful results. And I'm using the Montasio because it has a wonderful melting quality to it as well. So there's the filling. Here is our puff pastry. You've just gone to the grocery store and you bought yourself some puff pastry. You know, you buy a good brand and then just roll it out somewhat, not too thin. And then I just use a little cookie cutter, and I'm going to have you start filling those. So you put a little dab right in the center, just a little dab, and then we fold it over, making like a little calzone here. And we're going to bake these in the oven. And this, again, is another great idea for serving something other than cheese and crackers for a party. So there's a few, and I'm going to get out a tray. And what I normally do you like to bake?
Not really.
Okay. What I normally do is put them on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Parchment paper, I'm always telling everybody, is a baker's best friend. And then I just take an egg, just the yolk, right there, and beat that up a little bit. And then I just wash the top of each of those with, just brush the top with a little bit of the egg. You really want to make sure that those edges are pinched really well. So you just brush a little bit of egg over the top, the yolk, see? If you wanted to, you could put a little bit of coarse salt over the top. These get baked in a 400-degree oven, preheated, for about 8 minutes or so. You really want to watch them so that they don't get too browned. And they're great with a glass of wine.